Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I'll be talking about Ryan Kerrigan and how he has had a big impact on the edge rushers, including Dante Fowler and Frankie Louvu. I'll also be talking about Jaden Daniels, who won his ninth Rookie of the Week, Offensive Rookie of the Week, tied for the most in NFL history, and there's still a few more weeks to go. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe. We're close to 14,500. We're less than 200 away, so just hit that subscribe button. It's free. It takes 1 second. And I'll be doing a giveaway very, very soon. Once we hit 15,000 subscribers, I'll be giving away some Redskins cards, some merch, stuff like that. So stay tuned for that and check out BetUS. So let's talk about this. We'll talk about some other stuff as well, just random stuff that has happened today, some injury updates too. So Joe, this was a few weeks ago, but I wanted to talk about it today. And Joe Witt and Cliff Kingsbury actually both talked to the media today, but Joe Witt said that one person that's really helped Dante Fowler has been Ryan Kerrigan. Fowler said last week that Kerrigan's tips have helped him this season. Another plus, Fowler said that this is the healthiest he's been in a while. Feels he can bend the corner better, so that's good. And Dante Fowler has been very solid for the Washington Commanders this year, 9+ sacks, I believe. Him and Frankie Louvu. I know this was tweeted mid-game, and Frankie Louvu and Dante Fowler both had a couple sacks in that game, but then I believe like one or two of them got taken back from each of them, which was interesting. But they both have overperformed. I think Fowler a little bit more Fowler's been a little bit more of a surprise than Frankie Louvu. I think a lot of people thought Louvu was going to be good. Maybe not this good, maybe not as many sacks as he's getting, but still, we thought he was going to be good. Dante Fowler, though, has been much better than expected. And Ryan Kerrigan, he's, assistant, D-line coach, mostly working with the DNs, I believe. And the DNs, I believe, have overperformed their expectations. I mean, Dante Fowler has been good. Dorrance Armstrong has been good as well. I mean, I'll pull up the Commanders sack leaders right now. Commanders sack leaders, but they have a lot of guys on the edge that are doing a really good job. Even the rookie, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, he's had a very solid season. He hasn't played a ton, but when he has been playing, I feel like he's been decent for a rookie. Let's go to the sack leaders right here. Let's see. I'm just trying to pull this up here. So yeah, Dante Fowler has 8.5. Frankie Louvu has 8. Dorrance Armstrong has 4, which, that's solid. He, missed a game or two. So, a little bit not underwhelming for Dorrance Armstrong, but you'd like to see him have a little bit more than that. But he has had some big impact games, and I feel like he's gotten 1 or 2 sacks taken away from him because of a penalty from the defense, or even a what's it called, like roughing the passer, where he hits the guy in the head a little bit too late, or just hits the guy in the head, because that's a roughing the passer. But all the top guys that are getting sacks are edge rushers / outside linebackers. Like Dante Fowler is the type of player Kerrigan was in terms of like the position. Kerrigan was in a 3-4 defense. He was the outside linebacker. He was the guy rushing the passer, very similar to what Dante Fowler is doing, and kind of what Louvu is doing. I mean, Louvu plays a little bit more in coverage than Kerrigan did, but he rushes a lot just like Kerrigan did. Has 8 sacks on the year, a forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries. Daron Payne starting to heat up a little bit, gotten a couple sacks the last few weeks, got 4 sacks there. Colin Farrell in 11 games has 2.5 sacks. So you see a lot of the leaders are actually the edge rusher / linebackers, and that's who Kerrigan has helped, is coaching. So that's very, very good to hear. And hopefully he continues sticking around with Washington Commanders and continuing to coach these guys up. You see the rookie Baptiste has a sack, Jalen Holmes, defensive tackle, has a sack, Johnny Nunez has a sack. Just going over the sack numbers here for y'all. But real quick, a word from today's sponsor. Make sure you guys go ahead and check out BetUS. Use my code YouTube150 for 150% first time deposit match, up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. You got Thursday night football today. You got the Broncos and the Chargers. Should be an interesting game. You got Bo Nix playing. And then, of course, you got the Washington Commanders versus Philadelphia Eagles game coming up this Sunday, 1 p.m. So that'll be a big game. So the Chargers Broncos game right now is, pretty even. -2 is what the Chargers are at, but they are at home. You look at the Commanders game against the Philadelphia Eagles, and they are 3.5-point underdogs. I actually think the Commanders have a shot to win this game. So if I would bet on one side, I would bet on the Commanders money line there, which is plus 163. The over/under is 45.5. Make sure you guys check out BetUS and bet responsibly as usual. So back to talking about Ryan Kerrigan. So he was one of the only guys from the coaching staff that stayed from last year. Tavita Pritchard, and I know some people are going to be like, you're pronouncing it wrong. That's how he said to pronounce it. I know some people say Tavita, but apparently he says it's Tavita, so I'll just say that. But the quarterback coach who played quarterback at Stanford was the OC there, I believe, or at least was a quarterback's coach there, and he was on the staff with Bieniemy last year. They kept him, and they kept Ryan Kerrigan. Maybe one or two other guys that are like minor guys, but Kerrigan was one of the only guys that they brought back. So for him to come back with a new regime says a lot of what they think about him and the respect that the players give him. So, and he's done a good job in his first year here. I mean, he's not the only guy in that defensive line room, but I think he's definitely helped out a lot. And Dante Fowler talked about it, and so did Joe Witt. So, he's getting his name's getting brought up, and I wouldn't be surprised if he climbs the ranks soon. I think that you look at Joe Witt, he's done a really good job this year. I think with the Commanders, I think their defense has overperformed a little bit. I would say maybe, he'll probably get an interview. I would say head coaching interview maybe this offseason, just because, of the rules in place. The Rooney Rule, people have to, interview certain candidates. So he'll get interviews, but I think, and I'm not saying he's not deserving of a job. I think he could get a job this year. I think maybe one more year with the Commanders, if the defense does really well, I think he could get a job somewhere. And in that case, maybe Kerrigan becomes DC. I think that's probably a little bit too early. So maybe Kerrigan gets promoted this offseason to like defensive line coach or something, but in that, or some promotion. I don't know what they would do, but maybe they promote him. And then if Witt stays for 2 or 3 years, then maybe at that point Kerrigan's ready to take a more pronounced role or something. I'm thinking down the line here, just something to keep in mind. Just would be cool to see Kerrigan stay here, though, the rest of his coaching career. It sucked when he went to the Eagles. It was that one season, and he didn't really do much except for the playoffs against Brady. He actually had a pretty good game there. I think he had like 2 or 3 sacks, which was insane. But I would like to see Kerrigan stay here for the rest of his coaching career. He seems like he's done a good job with 2 different regimes now, especially more so this regime. But it wasn't like he did terrible with Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Like Chase, honestly produced the most while he was here in the last 2 years. Like, he didn't really produce much with the 49ers. He's done okay with the Saints, but he had like 6 sacks with us the first half of the season. So he did well under Kerrigan, and Sweat was fine too. So we'll continue to see these guys, Dante Fowler, Frankie Louvu, see them develop over the next last few games of the season, see what their numbers end up at. I mean, there's probably not much developing to do with those guys, but maybe some of the younger guys. And let's draft a guy. The edge rusher is one of the positions where they might draft a guy in the first or second round. And if that's the case, let's see what Kerrigan can do and the rest of the defensive staff can do with those guys. Some injury updates. Zach Ertz, he was at practice today with the non-contact jersey in the concussion protocol. So that's really no update. They're going to do the injury report or whatever, the designations on Friday, and later today, they'll give the report on who practiced fully and stuff like that. Made a video yesterday, so you can check that out on the injuries from yesterday. So guys to watch out for, really, it's Zach Ertz and Jeremy Chin. Some other guys are dealing with illnesses. I think Sam Cosmi missed practice. Tyler Biadasz missed last game, but he's good to go. Zane Gonzalez was back at practice today. His wife gave birth to their first child yesterday, and same thing with Greg Joseph. What are the odds that both the kickers end up having kids on the same day. I don't know if it was Greg Joseph's first kid, but congrats regardless to both of them. And like I said, Cliff Kingsbury talked about, or Cliff and Joe Witt talked to the media today, so nothing crazy. Witt talked about Lattimore. He did really well. They only looked his way twice and didn't throw his way at all. Joe Witt talked about John Allen, says, I just want to see how he moves and not get too excited about getting him back in, but it's a positive start. He was limited. He was a limited participant in practice yesterday. I would say probably going to be limited all week this week, maybe a full on Friday, see how he feels going into next week. I highly doubt he plays this week, but I think there's a very good chance he plays next Sunday night against Atlanta. But that is it for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys new, do all that good stuff, turn on that notification bell. If you stayed till the end, go ahead and comment down below Ryan Kerrigan, one of my favorite players of all time that I watched growing up. And again, I'm glad to see him thriving here and just sticking around the organization. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.